Okay, so I'm going to continue reading this. I think I left off having read combat, so now combat modifiers. Okay. Combat modifiers. Halving and doubling. Each unit can never be halved or doubled more than once. When halving, always halve by individual unit, not stack, and round any fractions up to the next higher whole number. Okay. Exception. Add up all 1-strength units in an attack, and then halve their total, rounding any fraction up. Okay. Each unit can only have doubled more than once. Never be. When having, always have by individual unit, not stack, and round any fractions up to the next higher whole number. Exception. Add up all 1-strength units in an attack, and then halve their total, rounding any fraction up. Okay, got it. Examples. 2 units with an attack strength of 5 would have a combined strength of 6 after halving. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 units, okay, right, so you have 5, you get 2.5, and then you round up to 3. 3 units with a defense strength of 1 would have a combined strength of 2 after halving. You add the 3 up to get 3, you get it multiplied by half to get 1.5, and then you round up to 2. A defender in a city hex defending behind a river is only doubled, not tripled or quadrupled. Okay, got it. So I guess you get a doubling for being in a city hex and then a doubling for being behind a river. Sequence. If a unit is both halved and doubled, first halve it, round up, then double it. This may result in it being stronger than its printed strength. Okay. Command control and formations. I guess this doesn't explain what to do if you get multiple halvings and doublings. Maybe just keep alternating halving and the doubling. Command control and formations. Lead formation. In each attack, no more than one formation may participate at full attack strength. All others attack at half strength. The formation that attacks at full strength is called the lead formation. The lead formation is allowed to have one attachment that may contribute its full attack strength. Formations. Formations are indicated by the color inside their counter's unit type box or behind the unit size indicator. Basically, each Allied division or independent brigade is a different formation, while German formations are corps and army level. The German formations are von Tettel Division, yellow, 15th Army is gray, the 1st Parachute Army is blue, the Corps Felt is green, and the 2nd SS Panzer Corps is red. Attachments. Any one unit from a different formation may be attached to the lead formation and participate in the attack at full strength. To be attached, the unit must be stacked with a unit from the lead formation. Exception 10.2.4. Okay. Example. The Guards Armored Division is the lead formation with a battalion of the 101st Hex B. So this is, I think, the Guards. Oh no, I think it's the purple. The whole purple is the Guards Armored Division. With a battalion of the 101st in Hex B, okay, so that's this green counter, as the one allowed attachment. The other 2 101st units attack at half strength, so the ones in C and D. Got it. The odds are 29-10 with a shift for armor, making it 3-1. So 29-10 would be 2-1 with a shift for armor to 3-1. Independent units. Units with a white formation color are independent units. These units are considered a single formation, but with a special attachment ability. They do not need to be stacked with the lead formation to be considered attached. Okay. The armor shift. Attacker shift. The terrain permitting, the attacker gains a column shift right on the CRT if he has a tank unit in the lead formation, and the defender has either no units with an armor rating in the hex, or has such units, but all have a lower armor rating than the highest armor rating among the attacking units. Use only the best tank anti-tank unit from each side for the comparison. Don't add up armor ratings. For determining the shift, always use the terrain the defender is in. Okay. Okay. So for determining the shift, always use the terrain the defender is in. So it's not the terrain that the attacker is in, coming from. Okay. I don't understand this, actually. I don't understand where the terrain comes into this. All right. Terrain permitting 10.3.4. Okay, so it's going to talk about this. Okay. Defender shift. The attacker suffers a column shift left if he has no unit with an armor rating in his lead formation, and the defender has a tank unit. Having an armor rating higher than the attacker's does not award the defender shift, but does affect the attacker's tank strength. See 10.4. Okay. (10.3.3) Anti-tank units. Units with an armor rating in a red or yellow box are classified as anti-tank units. Okay, this yellow box and this red box. The yellow box Jagdpanzer IV and the Jagdpanther units are classified as both a tank unit and an anti-tank unit. They can earn the armor shift, but must reduce their armor rating by 1 when attacking. The red box flak units, on the other hand, cannot earn the armor shift. Okay. They can deny a shift, though, even when attacking a tank unit. Okay. The defender shift. They can deny the defender shift. Okay. Okay, so the yellow means that they reduce the armor rating by 1 when attacking. The red means they don't get the armor shift. Got it. Terrain and the armor shift. The armor shift is never allowed if the defender is in a woods, marsh, or city hex, nor may it be earned by a tank unit that is attacking across a hex side it cannot move across, that is, an unbridged canal or river or roadless polder hex side. If, due to terrain, the attacker cannot earn the armor shift, he can still deny it to the defender, as in case 1 in the example below. Okay, let's look. Armor shift examples. Red arrows indicate where the armor shift is earned. Black arrows show where it is not earned, and yellow arrows indicates where the defender will earn the armor shift. Okay. A. Tank versus infantry, 1 shift. B. Tank with higher armor rating, 1 shift. So the armor rating is 3, the armor rating is 2, you get 1 shift. Note that the armor shift is allowed against town hexes. Got it. C and D. The tank shift is not allowed if the defender is in a city or woods hex. So in this case, the defender's in a city hex because you have that brown hex color. So you don't get a shift. Here, the defender's in a woods hex. So the defender does not get a shift either. Okay, so that shift, that negation of the shift based on terrain applies to both the attacker and the defender. Got it. E. The tank shift is allowed in polder if along a road. Okay. F. Tanks defending in polder hexes still can earn the tank shift. Okay, so in this case, F, the infantry is attacking into polder, so the tank does get the defender's shift. Got it. G and H. Tank shifts are not allowed when attacking across an unbridged river or canal. So G is attacking across a canal, it does not get the shift. H, it is attacking across a bridge. They are allowed if the tank unit is attacking via a bridged hex side. Okay, got it. And then I, the defender can earn the tank shift even if the attacker is attacking across an unbridged river or canal hex side. Got it. Okay, all makes sense. The anti-tank modifier. If the defender has a higher armor rating than all attacking units in the lead formation, then all armored in that attack have their attack strength halved. Okay. Remember to reduce the armor rating of attacking anti-tank units by 1. Okay. Terrain has no effect on this modifier. The defender earns this bonus in city, woods, polder, marsh, etc. Okay. Got it. Examples. A German 88mm flak unit with an armor rating of 4 in a city hex will have all allied armor units attacking that city hex. If a stack of Sherman tank units attack a Panther tank unit, then all Sherman tank units are halved. If a British Daimler Dingo recon unit attacks any enemy tank unit, it will be halved, plus suffer a CRT column shift left. The Dingo is armored, but not a tank unit. Okay, what was the defender shift again? The defender has a tank unit, and the attacker has no unit with an armor rating. Okay, I don't understand this last one. I think what this means is that the Daimler Dingo Recon does not have a armor rating. Do we have a picture of that somewhere? Okay. Do we have a picture of the counter? Maybe in the playbook. Okay, here we go. Right. Right, Daimler Dingo Recon. So this wheeled vehicle with a machine gun on the top, this one, you can see it does not have an armor rating. There's no superscript next to the leftmost number. So that's why it gets the shift. If that unit attacks a tank unit, the defending tank unit gets a shift because the Daimler is not does not have an armor rating. Yeah. But it is an armored unit. Okay. Vehicle units and unsupported tank units. Vehicle units are not doubled when defending in town or city hexes. Okay. Right, armored unit. What is an armored? Does it define? So I don't think they define what an armored unit is. Do they define? Armored units. Okay, they do define it. It's these ones with the dots. Tank and reconnaissance units are collectively called armored units. Got it. Okay. Vehicle units and unsupported tank units. Right, that's the right section, right? Vehicle units are not doubled when defending in town or city hexes. Okay. These are vehicle type units, as well as, I guess, tank units. Vehicle units are not doubled when defending in towners. Okay, right, that's this example D. The tank shift is not allowed if the defender is in a city or woods hex. Okay. And vehicle units is artillery, bridging units, 88 millimeter flak, tank, Daimler Dingo. Right, okay. So 88 millimeter flak is not doubled when defending in a town or city hex. Okay. That's good to know. Tank type units that are not stacked with at least one friendly infantry type step are considered unsupported. Unsupported tank units that are attacked by at least one infantry type unit in the lead formation suffer one shift right on the CRT. Play note. This shift does not work in reverse. The defender does not earn a shift left if attacked by only tank units. Okay. Examples. In A, the attacker earns a shift right because the defender only has only tank units in the hex and the attacker has infantry. Okay. However, the defender earns the armor shift, so the two shifts would cancel out. The final odds are 5 to 2, which rounds to 2 to 1. So 5 to... Okay, why is it 2? 5 to 2. Oh, because it's the defending. So the 3 is the attack value, the 2 is the defense value. Red means it's elite, an elite unit. So it's attacking at 5, it's defending at 2. It gets a shift for attacking unsupported tank units. And this gets a shift for this gets the armor shift. Got it. Okay. In B, the attacker earns both the armor shift plus the shift for unsupported tank units, making the final odds 3 to 1. So, okay. So this attacks at 3, this attacks at 4, that's 7. It's attacking unsupported tank units, so it gets a shift for that. 7 on 6. 7 on 6 is 1 to 1. Oh, okay, right. 7 to 6 with 2 shifts right. So you're right. It's attacking with 7 against 6. That's 1 to 1. Then it gets 1 shift for the armor superiority, and it gets a second shift for attacking unsupported tank units. Got it. So that's 3 to 1. No shift is earned against the unsupported flak unit in C, since it is not a tank unit. The odds are 5 to 3. So this attacks at 5, that attacks at 3, which makes 1 to 1. Got it. The morale shift. Elite. If the majority of steps in the lead formation, include attachments in this total, are elite, then the attacker earns a favorable shift of 1 column right on the CRT. It does not matter if the defender is also elite. Okay. It does not matter if the defender is also elite. Got it. Low quality. If all defending units are low quality, then the attacker receives a favorable shift of 1 column right on the CRT. These 2 shifts are cumulative. If an elite force attacks a stack of low quality units, then the attacker earns 2 shifts. Play note. There is no negative shift for attacking units with a higher morale. Okay. Examples. Okay. The attacker earns 2 morale shifts in combat A, elite versus low quality. So the majority of the units attacking are elite. You get 1 shift for that. All of the defending units are low quality. So you get a shift for that. So your final odds are 4 against 5 is 1 to 2, 1 to 1, 2 to 1. Right. In B, it depends on if the guards unit is attached. If it is, then the lead formation does not have a majority of elite steps, and so does not earn the shift. If the guards unit is just supporting at half strength, then the shift is earned. Okay, so let's suppose it's supporting. So this attacks at 4, this attacks at 6, that's 10. Defending at 5, that's 2 to 1. Oh no, but if it's supporting, this is halved. So this is 4, this is 3, that's 7. Against 5, that's 1 to 1. And the majority of the units are elite, so that makes 2 to 1. Okay, so now let's suppose that it is attached. So it's attacking at full strength. That makes 4 to 6, is 4 plus 6 is 10, against 5 is 2 to 1. So in both cases, it's 2 to 1. No morale shift is earned by either side in C. Okay, because there's no penalty for attacking with low quality units, and there's no bonus for defending with high quality units. Got it. Air support. During clear and cloudy turns, the allied player receives 2 or 1 air units respectively that may be used to provide a favorable shift of 1 column to the right on the CRT. Why did they say 2 or 1? Oh, because it's 2 on clear days and 1 on cloudy days. Only 1 air unit may be used per combat. Air support may only assist an attack against a hex that is within 4 hexes of a non-airborne British unit. Okay. The marker is removed after the combat is resolved. Air units may not be accumulated, and if not used, are forfeited. There is no defensive air support. Play note. Until British units from the south edge reach the airborne units cannot use air support. Okay. Terrain modifiers. The terrain effects chart. Refer to the terrain effects chart for a complete list of the effects of terrain on combat. Okay. Rivers and canals. Vehicle units are halved attacking across any type of river or canal. Bridged or unbridged. Okay. All other units are halved attacking across a major river or canal hex side, bridged or unbridged. Okay, let me slow down on this one. A major river. So vehicle units are halved against any type of river. All other units are halved attacking across a major river. The defender is doubled if all attacking units are attacking out of a marsh hex across a river of any type or canal hex side or any combination of those. Okay. If just one attacking unit is not attacking across one of those hex sides or out of a marsh hex, the defender is not doubled. Okay. Examples. Units A, B, and C attack Unit X. Units A and B are halved for attacking across a canal hex side. Okay, while Unit C attacks at full strength because it's a minor river, not a major river. Got it. And it's not a vehicle type unit. Unit X is doubled because all attacking units are attacking across river or canal hex sides. Okay. Got it. Odds are 13 to 10, which makes 1 to 1, with a shift for the tank unit. The armor shift is possible across an intact bridge hex side. Okay, so let me try to do the math here. So this attacks at 5. Is it halved? Yes. So that's 2.5 rounded up to 3. I should write this down. So that's 3. This is also halved. Vehicle units, any type, bridged or unbridged. Right. This is also halved because it's attacking across a canal hex side, bridged or unbridged. So that's 4. This one is not halved because it's a minor river. So this attacks at 6. They're all part of the same formation. So that makes 13. Is that right? Yes. This is defending at 5, but because all attacking units are attacking across some kind of river or canal, it gets doubled to 10. Got it. Okay, so I've got the math. Okay, but this does get a shift, so the shift is to 2 to 1. Got it. Next, units D, E, and F attack unit Y. Units D and E are halved, attacking across a canal hex side. Unit Y is not doubled because unit F is not attacking across a river or canal hex side. Odds are 8 to 5 plus the morale shift makes 2 to 1. So this attacks at 4 divided by 2 is 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2, so this is 4 plus 4 is 8. Attacking against 5, which is 1 to 1. And then because all of these, no, because the majority of these units are elite, you get the morale shift, you get the shift to 2 to 1. Got it. Okay. Marsh. Vehicle units have their attack strength halved when attacking into or out of a marsh hex. Okay. Tank units may not earn the armor shift if the defender is in a marsh hex. Okay. Marsh hexes act like rivers for Rule 10.8.2. Rivers and canal. Okay. Out of a marsh hex. In each of these 3 cases above, the tank unit has its attack strength halved because it is either attacking into or out of a marsh hex. So this is attacking at 8, divided by 2 is 4, this defends at 5, so 1 to 2. Okay. This is attacking at 8, out of a marsh hex, so you divide by 2 to get 4. This defends at 5. Oh, it gets doubled because all units are attacking out of a marsh hex. Right. That's brutal. So it gets doubled to 10. So that's 4 to 10 is 1 to 3 plus the armor shift makes 1 to 2. Okay. And then in this one, this is attacking out of a marsh hex, so this gets doubled to 10. And because it's attacking out of a marsh hex, it gets halved to 4. So that makes 1 to 3. And why does it not get the armor shift? Because because the defender is in a marsh hex. Right. Tank units may not earn the armor shift if the defender is in a marsh hex. Got it. Okay. Brutal. Polder. Polder has no combat effects on infantry type units. Vehicle units have their attack strength halved when attacking into or out of a polder hex. Okay. Tank units may earn the armor shift attacking into and out of polder as long as they are following the path of a road. The armor shift is possible when defending in polder. Okay. So the tank unit would have its attack strength halved, but it would still get the armor shift. Examples. The British units attack the 3 units marked A, B, and C. Okay. The attack strength of each is listed under each counter after halving for the polder terrain. Okay. So this tank unit is attacking into polder, so its attack of 9 gets halved to 5, even though it's attacking along a road. This unit is also attacking into polder. Its attack gets halved from 8 to 4, even though there's no bridge. So the effect is the same. Combat A is 9 to 10, so these two get added to 9. This gets doubled because it's oh, this is polder. Why does it get doubled? I think it's because all units are attacking out of... No. Oh, across a river. Right. Even if there's a bridge, the defender gets doubled. Okay, that's important to remember. I'll write this down. 1082. Okay, got it. So this one gets doubled because they're all attacking across the river. It makes sense. So that gets 10 to 9, that's 1 to 2. And then you are allowed the shift, armor shift, to get 1 to 1. Right. Got it. So in combat B, they're not attacking across a river. Vehicle units have their attack strength halved when attacking into a polder hex. So this gets halved to 4. This gets halved to 2. You do get the armor shift, I believe. Yeah. No, as long as they follow the path of a road, so you don't get the armor shift. Combat B is 6 to 5, so right. 1 to 1. Right, there's no armor shift because this one is not following the path of the road. Got it. Combat C. These... What is it? Into or out of a polder hex. Right, so they're attacking out of a polder hex, so it gets halved to 4. This one stays at 5. This one, I believe, stays at 5, so this would be 9 to 5, which is 1 to 1. And do you get the armor shift? No, because you're not following the road. So it's 1 to 1. Right, got it. Other combat modifiers. Defender disrupted, 14-2. Artillery support, 17-6. Attacker is engaged or scattered. Attacker is out of supply. Okay. Okay. Combat results. Explanation of combat results. The words attacker and defender refer only to the units participating in the combat in question, not to the strategic situation. DS, defender shattered. The defender loses one step. The unit selected is determined by the attacker. Surviving defenders must retreat 2 or 3 hexes, defender's choice, and are marked in full retreat. No determined defense is possible. The attacker receives a bonus advance and may conduct breakthrough combat. DMR, defender mandatory retreat. The defender must retreat 2 or 3 hexes, his choice, and is marked in full retreat. No determined defense is possible. The attacker receives a bonus advance and may conduct breakthrough combat. Okay. D1. The defender loses 1 step. Surviving defenders must either retreat 2 hexes and become disrupted, or conduct a determined defense. If the defender retreats, the attacker receives a normal advance. A1, D1. Both sides lose 1 step. Surviving defenders must either retreat 2 hexes and become disrupted, or conduct a determined defense. Okay. If the defender retreats, the attacker receives a normal advance. Okay. DR2. The defender must retreat 2 hexes and become disrupted or conduct a determined defense. If the defender retreats, the attacker receives a normal advance. A1, DR2. Same as DR2, except the attacker loses 1 step. DRX. Both sides lose 1 step. The unit selected is determined by the opposing player. The defender must either retreat 2 hexes and become disrupted, or conduct a determined defense. If the defender retreats, the attacker receives a normal advance. Exchange. Both sides lose 1 step. The unit selected is determined by the opposing player. No retreat for the defender. If the defender had only 1 step involved, then the attacker may enter the vacated hex and stop. A limited advance. Engaged. No advance, no retreat, and no step losses. An engaged marker is placed on the defending units. A1 and engaged. Same as engaged, except one attacking unit loses 1 step. The defender is marked engaged even if all attacking steps were eliminated in the combat. A1. The attacker loses 1 step. No retreat or advance. Selecting step losses. The owning player selects the unit that will take the step loss unless an EX, DRX, or DS was rolled. In those 3 results, the opposing player selects the step loss. When selecting step losses, yours or your opponent's, your selection is limited by the following restrictions. Any step loss against the attacker must come from the lead formation or its attachment. Furthermore, the step loss must come from a unit that could actually advance into the defender's hex, if there is such a unit. If the attacker earned the morale shift and suffered a step loss, If the attacker earned the morale shift and suffered a step loss on an A1, A1 engaged, A1 DR2, or A1 D1, then he must select one of his units that made the shift possible. In an exchange or DRX, the attacker may not select overstacked units that contributed 0 defense strength. Artillery units that provided offensive artillery support to the combat may not be selected. Airborne supply heads may only be selected if they were the only unit defending. Indicating step losses. Flipping a unit over indicates that the unit has suffered a step loss. If it is a one-step unit or a two-step unit that is already flipped, then it is eliminated. Any three-step unit on its reduced side forms a remnant when it takes its second step loss. Remnants and the remnant display in general. When a three-step unit takes a second step loss, it may be replaced with a remnant of the appropriate unit type. Place the regiment or brigade in the remnant display printed on the map, and place the remnant on the map where the unit was. Remnants are not mandatory. Players may elect not to use a remnant and put the three-step unit directly into the eliminated box. In this case, the unit is considered to have lost 2 steps. This option is mandatory if there is not an available remnant in the display. Why would there not be an available remnant in the display? Remnant elimination. If a remnant is eliminated, then the unit it was representing is placed in the eliminated box, and the remnant is placed back in the display and may be used again for another unit. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. So the remnant is not specific to a particular unit. It's specific to like a formation. Okay, got it. Engaged markers. Maybe I should write that down. Engaged markers. An engaged result only affects the defender. The attacker does not have to refight an engaged battle in the next turn. Units that are engaged suffer the following effects. Movement. Can only use tactical movement to move 1 hex and remain engaged, or 2 hexes and become disrupted. Combat. They have their attack strength halved and may not attack across an unbridged canal hex side, or participate in a major river assault. They may advance after combat normally. Only an unbridged canal hex side. What about an unbridged river hex side? That's weird. Oh, or participate in a major river assault. Okay, so that's what I think. I think that's what that means. They may advance after combat normally. Artillery. They may not provide artillery support. Bridging units. They may not repair bridges. Engineer units. They may not assist in a river assault nor create a ferry. Airborne supply heads may not provide returnees. They may not receive replacements or returnees. Engaged and disruption. If an engaged unit moves 2 hexes or is forced to retreat, replace the engaged marker with a disrupted marker. If a disrupted unit is engaged, don't place an engaged marker. An engaged result has no additional effects on a disrupted unit. Removal. Engaged markers are removed during the owning player's recovery phase. Determine defense. In general, the defender may attempt to cancel the retreat portion of a CRT combat result by using the determine defense table, provided at least one step survive the combat and the hex contains an eligible lead unit. A successful result on the determine defense table cancels the retreat, the disruption, and the associated advance after combat. It does not cancel the step losses. The determine defense table. Procedure. Step losses from the CRT are implemented before resolving the determine defense. If there are 2 or more surviving units in the defending stack, the defender picks one as the lead unit. If there is only one eligible unit, then that unit must be the lead unit. The terrain of the defender's hex determines the column to use on the table. Clear/polder, other, town, and city. Use the other column for all other hexes, including woods, marsh, and clear/polder hexes containing a village. Roads have no effect. Roll 2 dice. Lead units. The lead unit determines any possible DRMs and will be the unit to suffer the step loss if one is called for. Any good order combat unit can be a lead unit except artillery units and airborne supply heads. CRT color codes. The background color of the CRT result means the following. Orange or red, determined defense is not allowed. Yellow, the determined defense suffers a -1 DRM. Dice roll modifiers, cumulative. +1 for defensive artillery support, +1 if the lead unit is elite, -1 if the lead unit is low quality, and -1 if the CRT result is highlighted in light orange. Okay. All modifiers are cumulative. Explanation of results. A dot means the determined defense is successful and the retreat is cancelled. Any surviving defending units are marked with an engaged marker. Results without a dot means the attempt failed. Hashtag. Attacker step loss / defender step loss. The attacker may select his own step loss in 1/0 results. Okay, 1/1. Both sides take a step loss. In this case, the attacker's step loss is selected by the defender. Note, if a step loss is required from the defender, it must come from his lead unit. A step loss from the attacker must always come from the lead formation. Single step defenders. If the defender had only one step, and that step was lost in a successful determined defense, and the hex is now vacant of all enemy combat and non-combat units, the attacker may advance into the defender's vacated hex. The step was lost in a successful determined defense, and the hex is now vacant. Got it. Okay. Failed determined defense. If the determined defense fails, then the defender must retreat unless it has no retreat path. If all units in the defender's stack will be eliminated if it retreats, and the result is not DMR or DS, then the defender reduces his lead unit by 1 step, except no additional loss if the result was 0/1. Okay. And rolls again on the determined defense table. The defender may keep rolling on the determined defense table, taking a step loss on his lead unit for each failed attempt, until all defending units are either eliminated or they succeed in holding. If the defender had a +1 defensive support DRM, he uses that for each die roll. For example, a stack of 5 steps is defending in a city hex with no retreat path, and the CRT result is A1D1. Both sides remove a step for the A1D1 result, and then the defender rolls a 5 on the determined defense table, which is a minus, fail. He treats this as a 0/1 fail, removes 1 step, and rolls again. This time getting a 4, which is a printed 0/1 fail. He removes another step, not 2 steps, and rolls again, getting an 8, which is a dot, 1/1 result. Both sides remove another step, and the retreat is cancelled. The defender lost a total of 4 steps, and the attacker lost 2 steps. Okay. Yeah, this will take some practice. Retreats. Retreat procedure. The basics. When called upon to retreat by the CRT, defending units must be retreated the appropriate number of hexes by the owning player. 2 or 3 hexes, his choice, on a DS or DMR result. 2 hexes on a D1, DR2, A1, D1, A1, DR2, and DRX result. The attacker never retreats. A retreat can stop short in some situations. Stacks. The owning player has the option to split up a stack and retreat units to different hexes. Units can retreat through friendly units without disturbing the non-retreating units. Okay. Retreat direction guidelines. All retreats must follow the guidelines below. The guidelines are listed in the order of priority. Try to satisfy number 1 first, then try to satisfy number 2, etc. 1. If possible, retreat to a hex that does not cause elimination. 2. A unit may never enter the same hex twice in its retreat, nor may it be moved in a zigzag method to shorten its retreat, unless no other retreat path is possible. 3. If possible, avoid entering a vacant hex in an enemy zone of control. If not possible, you may ignore one enemy zone of control as long as you don't cross an enemy Zoc bond. If more than one retreat path is available, priority must go to a path that will put the defender in supply at the end of its retreat. Okay. Example. The allied unit A must retreat 2 hexes and has 2 safe retreat paths, A1 or A2. Overstacking. Okay, I don't understand this. Oh, because it's occupied by a friendly unit. So this is not an enemy zone of control. Right, so your friendly unit negates this enemy zone of control. You can ignore this hex, which has an enemy zone of control. You can ignore one hex and then retreat to this friendly hex. or you can ignore this hex and retreat to this unoccupied hex. Got it. Overstacking. Units may end their retreat in violation of the overstacking limit. However, this violation must be corrected before the end of the owning player's next movement phase, when all steps in excess of the 9-step limit must be eliminated. Elimination due to a retreat. Units are eliminated if they retreat into a hex entry area or across a hex side. They are prohibited from moving into or across in the movement phase. Across an unbridged major river or canal or lake hex side. This applies even if the unit started its retreat adjacent to the hex side. Ferry hex sides are considered unbridged hex sides for this rule. All units may retreat across bridged major rivers and bridged canals without restrictions, and non-vehicle units may retreat across minor rivers. Okay. So vehicle units may not retreat across minor rivers. Units with a movement allowance of 0 are eliminated if forced to retreat. Units are eliminated if they retreat into a hex occupied by an enemy unit, including unknown units. They're eliminated if they retreat across or into an enemy zone of control bond. They're eliminated if they retreat into 2 consecutive vacant hexes in an enemy zone of control. They're eliminated if they end their retreat in an enemy zone of control unless that hex contains a friendly unit that did not retreat in that combat phase. A unit may retreat 1 additional hex if that will save it from elimination, but this does not allow a unit that has retreated through 2 consecutive enemy zones of control to survive. This part is not clear to me. Okay, I think what this is saying is if you have a mandatory 2 hex retreat and that second hex is an enemy zone of control, you're allowed to retreat a 3rd hex to get out of that enemy zone of control. Example, Unit A must retreat 2 hexes, but will end up in an enemy zone of control if it does. In this case, it may retreat 1 additional hex. Okay, that's the example I was just thinking of. Important. Units facing elimination, if they retreat, are eligible for multiple determined defense dice rolls. Got it. 12-4. Right. Good to remember that. If all units in the defender stack will be eliminated if it retreats. Got it. That's interesting because you would think that the units wouldn't know that they would be eliminated before they made the decision to retreat. Okay. But I get it. So, example. The 2 British units must retreat 2 hexes. The mechanized infantry unit can retreat across the minor river hex side. The tank unit must use the bridge, but is eliminated in the 2nd hex of its retreat since it entered 2 consecutive vacant hexes in an enemy zone of control. Got it. Stopping a retreat. At the cost of an additional step loss, defender's choice, a retreat can end after 1 hex if all conditions below are met. The result was not a defender shattered or defender mandatory retreat. The units retreat into a city, town, woods, village, or a hex containing friendly units, including unrevealed unknown units that have not retreated. You cannot stop a retreat in a clear polder or marsh unless it contains a village or a friendly unit in good order. The units do not end their retreat in an enemy zone of control unless a friendly unit in good order is already in that hex. I'm wondering what the justification is for this extra step loss. And I'm also curious, like, you don't really see that. If you're playing decisive campaigns, you can be commanding a battalion, and the battalion can get hit, and it won't retreat. It'll just stay where it is. This almost feels like maybe it's a carryover from earlier war games. Okay, important. A unit that retreats only one hex is still disrupted. This is a change from the first edition. Okay. The advance rate does not change. The attacker still receives his full advance after combat, even if the defender is eliminated in his retreat or stopped the retreat. Combat against previously retreated units. If a unit or stack is retreated into a friendly occupied hex, and that hex undergoes an attack, not breakthrough combat, in the same combat phase, the retreated units do not add anything, defense strength, armor rating, morale, etc., to the combat. They may not be selected to satisfy a step loss from the CRT. They may not be used as a lead unit in a determined defense, and if required to retreat again, they are eliminated. Play note: use a spent marker to indicate such units. Remove the marker after the combat. Got it. Disruption and recovery. Actually, how long am I? What am I at now? Okay, I'll stop now since I'm an hour in.